Hi, everyone, and welcome to another week of Live with PF and Pastor AK.
Except that you go for PS PAK.
Yes. And so, just like last week, I didn't do the whole PF and Pastor AK because tonight I have another very special guest with me. And this is Lola de Akibola. Hi.
Hi.
Really excited to have her on the show tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about investments, financial literacy, and financial peace. I don't know if any of you have heard of Dave Ramsey. Yeah, so we're going to kind of just be talking about money pretty much
My
tonight.
favorite topic.
And Lolade is the chief financial officer for our church, New Covenant House, and she has been for about almost 10 years.
A decade.
Whoa, that's a long time. And she's actually married to one of our pastors, Pastor Dami, and they have two lovely, amazing kids. Now, why is she here tonight? Because she is what I call the money bags, all right? She's got 15 good years of experience in financial services. She's actually the assistant treasurer of a company, a large mortgage servicing firm that's called Mr. Cooper. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, right?
Yeah.
And so she's got a lot of experience with finances and investments and all of that great stuff. So that's why she's co-hosting with me tonight, because she's got a lot of experience and knowledge with that. And we're going to have three other people on tonight in a minute. Our panelists, and they'll be covering a whole range of stuff from investments and stocks and financial wellness and financial peace, as well as the real estate market, which is like crazy right now.
It is really
seriously crazy.
Yeah.
So Lolipi, what do you do? Can you kind of describe to us what you do?
I always have such a hard time describing what I do.
Yeah.
But I feel like the easiest way to I work in finance. I work for a mortgage servicing firm, which is really just the company that takes your mortgage payments. The easiest way to describe what I do is investment banking.
Oh, fantastic.
But investment banking, not for people, but investment banking for a company.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because we provide mortgages to people, but we're not a bank.
Gotcha.
So we have to then go borrow from bigger banks.
Okay.
So my entire department, that's our job, is that it's borrowing money on behalf of
I like that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like big bucks on behalf of someone else.
Yeah, it's funny because throughout the day I'll talk about 200 million, 300 million. It sounds like a number, but in reality, it's not money. But yeah, anyways, yeah. So that's
love that. And you are the assistant treasurer,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And you have been for how long?
Well, actually, I've been the assistant treasurer for a few months now, but I just got promoted recently. But yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what's your I guess your interest with money? What part of it do you love? What part of it is interesting to you?
Do you want us to be here all night?
No. The short version.
No, I think
I guess that means you love your job.
I love my job because it's interesting and I get to see the effects of my work.
Gotcha.
Like in real time. Okay. But what I love about just investing or money is just the idea of financial freedom, the idea of never being broke. My husband and I always talk about how I hoard money because just the idea of being able to be financially free, not having to worry about paying your bills.
Okay.
So helping other people get there gets me excited.
All right, you're speaking my language. I love that. And this is really what we want to achieve tonight. Get everyone thinking and get everyone on that path towards financial freedom, financial peace, financial wellness, and just understanding the way some of this stuff works. Now, incidentally, like I said earlier, she's our chief financial officer at New Covenant House. And she's actually one of the reasons why we can do a lot of the stuff that we do, because she makes our dollar stretch.
Stretching money.
I have to confess that when it comes to money at New Covenant House, I'm a little afraid of you. I'm one of the dreamers, Yeah, so she has to kind of okay. stay on track.
I'm not trying to kill dreams,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do like to
trying to finance dreams.
Yes, and make sure that we are financially viable for as long as possible.
Love it. So before I bring on the panelists, just wanted to give everyone a little background because one of the things that we want to make sure that we make clear is what is the purpose of tonight. Yeah. And even though COVID has been a challenge, worldwide, financially, I mean, some financial institutions have really struggled. A lot of businesses have struggled. A lot of people have lost their jobs and people have suffered severe financial losses. I mean, the stock market has kind of gone a bit up and down. However, some people are really, really, really making it. I mean, some people are making a killing. And so part of what we want to kind of reorient your mind right now is what are the things that are working right now? COVID has not shut everything down. It's actually literally propelled some things to the top. So we want to talk a little bit about some of that stuff so that you can use this opportunity, like the Bible says, while others are saying there's a casting down, for you will say there's a lifting up. All right. There's one of my favorite scriptures is that scripture where it talks about how Isaac sowed in the time of famine and he reaped 100-fold. So it's possible in the time of famine to sow and reap so much more than you can imagine.
There actually are people and businesses thriving even in this environment.
Absolutely.
We talk about the companies that are like almost like COVID resistance, like home decor, like Home Depot, like.
I know. I know. Every craft store is like doing crazy. Every mailing, Amazon has doubled his billions in this time. So that's what one of the things we would really love to do right now is to try and do things, or talk about things that would help you get there, where this is a time for you to really sort out your finances. So I'm going to go right ahead and invite our first panelist. I don't know if he's here yet. Femi Bikunle. I know I'm a little early.
I think
fantastic. Yes,
he's connecting.
He's connecting. Yeah. I'm so excited for tonight. I really believe that at the end of this, your mind will start working a different way. You're not thinking, oh, COVID has ruined everything, but you start to think, how can I, even in this time, get to a point where I'm doing, very, very well. Yeah. Hey, Pastor Femi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hi.
Well, okay.
Good to see you.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah.
Doing very well. It's been a busy day, but
great. Busy is good. Busy is great. I know we only have you for a short time, so we're kind of going to dive right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what you do at New Covenant House? Because that's kind of where we're going right here.
Okay. All right. My day job, what I do during the week, I work with in the same company with.
Me and I work in the same company.
I did not know that.
We do.
I totally did not know that.
Yeah.
Different parts of the company, but
different parts. And what I do is project management for IT, so application development, and also data services as well.
Okay.
That's what I do during the day. In New Covenant House, I serve in the Rock Institute Ministry, which is the university, the training school for the church. We have different programs, including the growth track. One of it is also financial peace as well.
Love it.
And that's what I do. Okay. And for discipleship system as well. The director for the discipleship system.
So everything knowledge, like
he's our NCH professor.
That's right. So everything knowledge. So this is why we have you on as the first person tonight. Just kind of give us a background. So I'm going to ask you, one of the things that is very popular, and one of the things that we're really wanting people to do during this period is to get financially literate and get financially healthy. So what is financial peace?
All right, I'll just quickly give a run through about the program, and it's something that we've done before in New Covenant House, and these are classes that is designed by Dave Ramsey. It's a very popular program known across the United States, and what they've done is package, I would say, series of what they learned so far in order for you to build wealth. So there are classes, 9 classes in total, and you can take them at your own pace depending on how you sign up for it. But just quickly, I'll just quickly do a run through. So the first part of it is they will give you baby steps, really simplified. It's not an aggressive way to make wealth. It's really about changing your lifestyle, your behavior. In fact, they would always tell you that it's more behavioral than head knowledge. Gotcha. So they will give you baby steps, and the first few classes will focus on that, where you start off with saving your emergency funds, and also starting with paying off your debt. So that's one big part of the financial piece is not being in debt, not just paying off your debt, but how to go step by step handling that. Which might be a journey for some people. It might happen a little bit quicker. So that's the first part of it. Then a lot focuses on saving emergency funds. So the idea is when you get out of debt, whenever things do happen, the things that we do not plan for, it's not a question of if, it's when it comes. You have to be well prepared for it, so that you don't go back into the same situation you were in after you get out of debt. So it will also give you steps on how you can save your emergency funds. Now, one thing that is also very critical about this program is they provide tools for you to budget. A lot of them will tell you that if you don't have a budget, literally, that's the starting point. And there are several tools that they provide you have access to once you take the program. That you can use to create a budget. Then after that, they will get into the further classes will go into investment. They'll talk about how you can start investment for your retirement, for college, for you to start the college fund, and also to pay off your home.
All right, now you're talking. Because for those of us that are a little bit older, that's kind of what we want to hear.
I think, it would be good if you also tell people, like, I know I've taken the class and I can give my testimonial, but I think it'd be good for you to also give testimonial of like how it has impacted even you yourself because you've taken the class, just so people can know what to look forward to. You know what I mean?
Yes. So for myself personally, myself and my family, my wife and I, we also did this particular course years ago, and taking the class is one part of it. Another very critical part of it is implementing the steps, because they do work. Millions of people have taken this class and they've seen a difference when you go.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, when you go through the plans. And personally, we are at a stage where we've seen it's not just something I'm telling you head knowledge. I've lived it, where it's step by step. First of all, building the emergency fund, the starter fund, and then paying off the debt, and then saving up emergency fund. And the difference that he has made, even talking about the home part of it, reducing the length, the term of the loan,
of your mortgage,
of your mortgage as well. It allows us to do so much more than when we started this journey. And we have reached a point where we can see that whenever you're not in debt, it gives you peace of mind. Truly, I can testify to that. It does give you peace of mind. There are so many things that, it's just one big thing that you can not worry about. And even Dave will tell you that you should use cash in some cases, because cash will make you spend less. To be honest with you, I still have cash in my wallet as I'm speaking right now. So yeah, it's been a habit that we've developed over the years, and it's really worked for us.
Yeah. And the interesting thing as well is if you don't have debt, if you're not servicing debt, and you are paying off your house, then there's actually room for you to do some of what we're talking about tonight, which is investing. And I've heard about people who've actually gone on to not just pay off their debt and become financially well, but have actually become millionaires.
Yes, everyday millionaires are. Wouldn't it be nice? I think the thing I get excited about with financial peace is this idea that the thing I'm worrying about and every day is not how to pay my bills, but what do I do with my money? Like, you know what I'm saying, right? How can I make it get bigger? You know,
knowing where it's going.
Your worry is how do I invest my money? Instead of saying how do I pay my water bill tomorrow, or how do I pay my credit card bills? So I love the fact that when you implement financial peace, right? Then it takes you to the next step, because
So how I mean, because for some people they are in such a mess that like the thought of like how do you even start? Is this something that just works if you have a decent amount of money to start off with, or is this something that can actually dig you out of a hole? I mean, how easy is it to apply this across the board? Whatever financial bracket you're in.
Okay, yeah, sure. One very important piece that I need to mention as well is the people that they use as case study in this program. They're real life cases. And these are people that are not earning a ton of money. Trust me, these are people that are earning not even up to a six-figure salary. But what they've done is you start off small. So you start off with the smallest debt. And in fact, the startup fund that they will tell you to put aside is not a significant amount. It's just for you to have something in the bank, and also start with a small debt first and work your way through. So it's a debt snowball. You're not trying to, it's really a plan that works whatever stage you are in. Even if you feel that, well, I'm in too much debt, there's nowhere I can start from. No, that's not the case. You can start from somewhere. It's just going to be a journey. And when the part that they use, a family that earns I think an average of maybe like 62 or something grand. They were using that case study in their 30s. They started, I think, in their 30s, putting a certain amount aside, working your way through. At a period of time, they will become millionaires. It's really that.
So there's hope for me in this lifetime.
There is.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So how often do you do this class? Like now we want to know, like sign me up. Where is the dotted line? Like, how do we sign up? When, where, how often? How do we get in on this?
Okay, the next one will be done next year. Okay. I'll confer. Well, we'll walk through the date to let everyone know when we'll be holding a class in New Covenant House. It's a 9-week period, so we really find that period where we know that people. We'll confirm the date of the class. It's going to be sometime.
We just had one this summer, I think. Right? We did one this summer, and it was fun.
Yes, and we did it remotely, and that really helped a lot of people because the travel time and all of that. It was really convenient for them to just jump online and go through the program. The feedback was really great as well.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends that just finished it. And the great thing, I think if you do it with in a group like with church as well, you get a discount on the fees, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Yes, you do. Yeah, yes, you do. Yeah. And you also learn the course can be taken. You can actually take it by yourself, but one good part of taking it with a group is people also share a lot during those sessions that you will learn from. So it's a very good dialogue when we go through these classes that we learn from each other.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I love that. It's one of those things that the earlier you start, the better, but it's never too late.
It's never too late.
I've known people who were in their 70s get financial peace and literally set themselves up in a better position for retirement.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Is there anything else you just kind of wanted to cover before we move on to the next segment? Anything that we may have forgotten to ask that you think is important for us to know?
Well, just look out for the notification when we do take the class. But even with, I believe that there are a lot of people, you can get a lot of knowledge from the people in New Covenant House as well, someone like Lade as well. Yeah. And they can even direct you. You might have some questions or some follow-up questions as well. I think they're great resources to be able to tap from where you want to start, even if it's just budgeting. If you just need like a template, there are a lot of resources that a lot of people can direct you in the right track or where to go.
Should we just have people maybe send an email if they're interested in or would like more information?
Yes, they can send an email to tri@uch dallas.com.
Okay, tri@newcdallas.com. Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Appreciate you. And we're totally looking forward to signing up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Have
it's
a
been
good
a pleasure.
night.
You too. Bye.
Great. Okay. Sounds doable.
No, it totally is. And full disclosure, the last class actually was taught between TR. It was a conjunction between TRI and the finance department. So I taught some of the classes. A few other people within the finance department taught the classes, and it was really, really awesome to see people learn stuff, get excited. There were things that even I was still learning just from the conversation. So definitely it's if you've never taken it or you don't even know where to start with your finances, financial peace is definitely
absolutely. I really, one of the greatest things I love about it is just not just that it's so simple, but that anyone can do it. Like there's hope. There's hope for anybody, no matter how badly, how deep the hole that you're in.
And it's because Dave Ramsey, who built the program, built it from the fact that he was in a hole. He was literally in
first-hand experience.
Exactly. So he built it for. In fact, if you're not in a hole, most people think, "Oh, this is so easy," and then they pick up things that they know that. Oh wow, I didn't know that I needed to get life insurance or etc. But Dave built it from a hole. So
fantastic, love it. Okay, we're going to move right along to the second person. So the second segment, we're going to be talking about investing with stocks. And we have another really lovely person who's very passionate and very knowledgeable about this, Terry Joma. We're going to have Terry first, I think, or we're doing Tiwa first?
We'll go with it.
Okay, let's go with it. Alrighty, so not sure which one is coming on next, but anyway, while we get ready for that, so there are two ways right now that you can really invest: stock market and real estate.
Yes, and both are booming.
Both are, and it's crazy because we thought COVID would shut everything down, but it's quite the opposite. Hey Terry, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you all?
We're good. Oh, you look so lovely.
Thank you. It's the lighting, girl. It's the light. No,
it's totally you. Love the background as well. Thank you so very much for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it. And you're going to be talking with us about investing with stocks, correct?
Yes, I am. And I did want. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, hey, you're really passionate about it.
Oh yes. Well,
we're so excited to learn from you tonight.
Yay! I actually was an assistant principal of an elementary school and was able to quit my job and start traveling full-time with stocks. So I like stocks a lot.
That's amazing.
I'm like blown away. Okay. Yeah. So, tell us, how did you get into it? How did this start?
When I was in high school, I actually did a program at Northwestern University at Kellogg Business School, and they took us to the stock exchange there in Chicago. So like the Chicago Board of Exchange. And that was my first introduction. And I was just blown away. All these people making money and things were moving so fast. We got to see like the trading floor. So when I got back to high school, that was the year Google had their IPO. And can you believe it? Google was $83. And I remember telling my grandmother, like, Granny, we got to get it. Now it's over $1,400. And I just wish back then that we had known what to do, but we didn't know. We didn't know how to even buy a stock. We didn't know where to go. So fast forward to college, I interned on Wall Street to learn more about it. And I ended up doing like the education route, but I would trade on the side until I decided to now do it as my full-time job.
Love it. And you know why this is so exciting is I just want tonight for people to understand that anyone can do this. Like this is open to anyone. I mean, we may not get to the levels like what you were doing, but anyone can start. Yeah. So what exactly do you do? Can you kind of explain in layman terms, something that the average Joe,
the non-finance person can understand?
Sure. So I know a lot of people are like opening Robinhood accounts. So there's probably a lot of people who are like, oh, I opened an account, but now what? What do I do?
I know what to do.
So the first thing you have to do to invest in stocks is open a brokerage account. And you can do that. There's many online brokers now. There's E-Trade, Charles Schwab. I use one called TradeStation. So the first thing you do is you open an account and you fund it with some money, just like a bank account. But in that account, you can then invest in a stock, which is a piece of a company. So you can say, okay, I want a share of Amazon or a share of Netflix or a share of Tesla if you want, and you'll invest in those stocks. Now, the goal is to invest at a good price that's inexpensive and then to sell it when it's risen in price to more expensive. But there's ways that you can do that with more education, to like looking at charts to help you. Having a good risk management plan is important. Picking the right companies is important. But really, those are the basics. You're going to buy low, sell high, and you'll be able to make the difference.
So how do you decide, just real quick, I know this is a lot more complex than something we can talk about in 20 minutes, but how do you decide like on your strategy? Like, how do you pick companies that okay, this is the right price? Just for the first person that's trying to dip their toe in and try a little, what are the tips you can give them?
So a couple things that are important to me when I'm looking for a company, I want to go for the best in breed. So that's going to be like the best company in a sector. I'm not looking at the penny stock or trying to, find the next come up. No, I want a company that's been on an uptrend for a while. So I'm looking on a chart. You can do this in CNBC. They actually have an app that you can download. Look at their stock price over time. So like over the last year, has it been going on an uptrend? Like that's the first thing I'm looking at. But then you're going to...
What's the app called?
CNBC.
Okay.
It's the financial channel of the NBC network.
Yeah.
And everybody can download it on their cell phone. What's cool about that too is it lets you put a watch list on your phone. So you can put different companies that you like or the ones that you've been hearing about, and then watch how their stock price moves over time. That's important too.
Okay.
Some other things that are important to me is I'm a technical analysis trader. So I'm looking at formations in the chart. So every stock, as their stock price is moving, it creates these candlesticks. And if the candlesticks are in a certain formation, you can actually see where big banks are buying, like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase. Their big orders show up in the chart. So you can kind of go with those orders, like, okay, if they're buying at $150, the next time it comes to 150, that's where I'm getting in.
So they've done the analysis for you, and you're just piggybacking off of what they're doing.
Basically, well, the way that I'm doing is I'm looking at the candles, and certain formations kind of give us signals like, oh, okay, that's where they are. That's where they're buying. That's where they're selling.
Gotcha.
Real quick question, totally random, but why not penny stocks? What you said you don't do penny stocks. Why is that?
For me, penny stocks they're undervalued for a reason. The reason why the stock price moves up is because banks have put enough value on that company that they're buying it, and then the stock price moves up. If it's under $10, that means that the banks are not buying that stock. They don't think it's worth it.
They don't think it's worth the value. Okay.
Yeah. And so the ones that are going up in price and the ones that are I guess you would call it more expensive. A lot of times those are the ones where banks are putting they're putting their money to work
their capital into it. Okay.
So it sounds like the value sometimes is not really about the real value of a thing or a company. It's about how much value we just place on it.
Yes. Thank you for asking that, because it's so true. The stock market is a market just like any other market. So like, like when we're in Nigeria and we're trying to buy cloth, you go in and it's a haggle between the buyer and the seller. Like the buyer, we're not trying to pay full price. So we're going to try to get the lowest price possible. But the seller, they're going to start with a higher price because they're trying to sell it for the higher price. And then you negotiate back and forth until you agree upon a price. That's the same thing that's happening in the stock market. I think some people think it's more like a grocery store where the prices are set and like whatever it says, that's what I'm going to pay. But that's not true. You're actually going to put into the system system what price you want to get that stock at. And if there's a seller on the other side that wants to sell at that price, you guys can agree upon the price.
Yeah, I did not know that. So can you real quick explain? Somebody wants to know, the whole pump and dump thing with penny stocks. What's that about?
So what will happen is, so I remember I said it's about buyers and sellers, right? So what will happen is if a stock is really low in price, if they can get a lot of people to buy it, it'll move the price up. Like think about an auction. You know how they start real low, but then if there's a lot of buyers, everybody puts their hand up. Who wants it at this price? Me. And then they keep raising the price. That's what's happening with those stocks. You get a lot of people to buy and it'll move the price up, but then someone who wants to sell will just come and sell at that higher price and it'll move the price back down. So that's what's happening with the pump and dump.
That sounds like it should be legal.
A lot of things in the stock market
You would think so, but those people who don't know, they're thinking, oh, I gotta, this is gonna be a good one. I heard from my friend. But really, it's just they're trying to get a lot of buyers to push the price up. And somebody they have an order in the system at this price, I'm selling 1 million shares. So it's not even like they're waiting. Like they already planned that.
They already placed the order.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It makes sense though to follow what the big money is doing.
Yeah, because
they're not fixing to lose money.
Brilliant. I learned something new from you, so I'm excited about that.
Okay.
The other question I was going to ask you, I know a lot of people got excited about option trading during this season. What are your thoughts on that?
I love options. So I trade stocks and options. There's 4 different asset classes that you hear people talk about.
I was about to say, you see my face? Sound daft.
I'm so sorry.
I guess
I work in financial services and I feel like I skipped and I saw Pastor kid's face gloss over it and I realized I had jumped like 3 steps. Can you please explain? I'm so sorry. Can you explain option trading just for the folks that don't?
Yeah.
Okay, so in investing, there's actually 4 different things that you can trade. You can trade stocks, which is companies. You can trade futures, which is commodities like oil, soybean, corn. That's futures trading. Remember, this is just like a market. In the old days, they'd have these commodities like actually sitting out, and then people would be negotiating on prices. So you got to kind of think this really is a market. Yeah. So one place you're doing companies, that's stocks. One place you're doing commodities, and then a lot of people trade futures. Forex too, and that's currency. So that's like trading, the Naira versus the dollar, or the Aussie dollar versus American dollar. So that's Forex. You hear people talk about that too. And then options is just a asset. It's like a derivative of equities, because it's trading 100 stocks at one time. Sorry, I feel like I stuttered on that, but options is trading 100 shares of a stock at one time, and it's a contract.
Okay. So which one is better? Like, is there for a beginner especially?
I guess which one is the safest? Because a beginner, I'm assuming, would be more risk adverse. So if you had to try to dip your toe in, which one would you suggest going with?
I honestly would suggest starting with stocks, because you have to learn how to trade the underlying stock before you can trade options. If you're trying to trade 100 shares of a stock, you need to know where to get in and where to get out. It's better to understand the stock itself first and then move up. Some people will try to do Forex because you can use less money, but I still think no matter what, you're using some of the same basics. You're learning how to read charts. You're learning how to manage your risk. So some of those basics are the same across all asset classes.
Okay. That makes sense. And you typically, how much capital is necessary? Because one of the things that I deeply regret is that I did not buy Apple shares when I used to tease my husband about it.
Even Tesla.
Yes.
But Apple is crazy, because my husband has been Apple crazy since way back when no one was buying anything Apple.
Yes.
He was the only one. And everyone used to tease him like, do you own shares in this company? What is the craze with Apple? And we never just thought how crazy it was going to get. Amazon, Google, some of these companies, even some of the pharmaceutical ones, I worked for Walgreens back in, I don't know, 2001 or something.
Wow.
And I had options then to buy stock at cheap prices. I was like, so and it was always because I felt like I didn't have enough money to even live on. So what about capital? How much do you need to get off the ground?
And you know what? It's not just back in 2001. A lot of people missed the opportunity just recently in March when the stock prices fell. So anytime is a good time to learn to invest. I think if you start with $500, well, here, let me just tell you from my experience. So I got to give a disclaimer. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just for educational purposes only. But like at TradeStation, it costs $500 to fund the account, but it's like a bank account. It just sits there in the account, but you can then go practice in a simulator until you get good. And that's actually where I tell people to start. Start in a simulator while you're learning. I have a course called Trade and Travel. So a lot of my students do this. They start in the simulator while they're learning. And then once they're good, they start putting more money into their actual account. So I'm an active investor. I kind of day and swing trade, and we can talk about that too. If you are doing that, you need at least $2,000 in the account.
Okay.
Yep. And your goal is going to be to make at least average around 1% of your cash amount a day, or as often as you're trading.
So just to restate that, 1% of your investment amount is your goal is to make that on a daily basis. What is your risk management tool? Like, how do you mitigate risk to make sure that you're staying there and you're not losing
your money?
Yes, I have actually 5 different things that I do and that I teach about managing risk, but one of them is called a stop loss. It's an order type that you can put in the system, and it'll say, if the stock comes down to this price, get me out of the trade. And you can actually put that into your trade at the same time that you're, entering to buy. You're like, okay, I'm going to buy at 150 and I'm going to put my stop in at 100 or 125. So if it falls $25, I'm out. That will protect you from losing, and you don't have to be so worried while the position is in. So that's one of the things to protect you.
Love it. Love it. Oh my God. Like my mind is like totally like, I can't wait. I can't wait to start. I'm going to turn her into a day trader. She's going to start trading. Oh no, I'm sold already.
Let's go. I'm actually trading an account right now for a nonprofit. I'm trading 300,000 and we're making it into 750, so I can donate 450,000 to the nonprofit. So
amazing.
Something like that for the church. Go ahead and start learning now.
I have to confess, I wasn't thinking church though. I was thinking
it's not as simple as it.
No, well, okay, so I don't have to confess. She's financial officer. I'll let her worry about stuff.
I feel like I need to call you. It sounds brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm already like, okay. Oh wow, I love this. So how has the market reacted to the pandemic? Because this is one thing I really want people to understand. Because everyone heard, the housing market, everything is going to crash because of COVID. How truthfully has it reacted to the pandemic?
Actually, it's reacted wonderfully. You have to remember what companies are making up the most of the S&P and the Dow. The Dow Jones, which is like that big market that we follow, it's really the top 30 companies. And a lot of those top 30 actually did really well during the pandemic. Like Visa, everybody still had to buy stuff. Or Goldman Sachs. And I might be saying some of the wrong companies for the different sectors, but many of the companies in the Dow did exceptionally well. The NASDAQ is the top technology companies. Technology soared during the pandemic. And then even in the S&P 500, that's the top 500 companies. But some of the biggest ones in there are like Apple, Amazon, and again, they still did really well. So the stock market itself did extremely well during the pandemic. And if anybody was able to get into those lows in March, then your account is looking beautifully right now.
So even though I think we're at the tail end of which is, optimistically we think so, but there are still companies that are low right now. Would you consider investing? I'm not telling you to tell people what to do. I'm just saying, in your opinion, in like,
the travel. Is it wrong for her to tell us what to do?
Oh, I didn't want to put pressure on her.
Oh, okay.
So that if you lose money, you don't gotta say, "Oh, it was Terry that told me to."
Oh, gotcha.
Right. That's why we had to do the disclaimer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Okay, I got it.
But would you invest in like the travel industry, like the airlines, the cruise industries, given how low their stocks are falling?
So I think that's where the difference between a long-term investor and an active investor comes in. I'm investing for income. So like I when I quit my job as assistant principal, I needed to make $300 a day. Now I'm like, okay, I need to make $1,000 a day. An active investor, we're actually going to be looking at the companies that are doing really well, and we're not so much thinking about the ones that are struggling right now. Okay. A longer term investor may look at that because they have 10 years for it to come back.
Gotcha.
Personally, my opinion, or if I were to give advice, I'd tell people I wouldn't look for anything right now that's not healthy. The airlines, they're struggling right now. They don't have enough people wanting to fly. They're trying to get loans from the government, so they're struggling.
A lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, instead of going for them, I'd look at maybe a software company like Salesforce or Adobe, who no matter what happens, they still are doing great business. Yes. So that would be my suggestion. Go for the more healthy companies instead of those that are broken right now.
What about like healthcare? You know, because people are always going to be sick, or food. Some of those, you know,
I feel like
yeah. If you're doing healthcare, you might want to think about the telehealth companies. So like Teladoc did really well during the pandemic. Yep. For some people are trying to, I would put in quotes, like play the virus stocks like Moderna. To me, that's a little bit more of a gamble because we don't really know who's going to come out with the vaccine first. Yes. So I'd rather go for like the doctor's part of it. Those are going to still be in service versus trying to pick which healthcare company.
And I suspect that even after COVID is over, now that we've discovered we can do so much remotely, a lot of us are going to do stuff remotely, regardless.
I mean, like you'll see. Yep. Like I was just gonna say, you'll see on my YouTube channel the first week of the challenge. It's called the Hub Challenge. I did 26,000 on Zoom. Because like we're using Zoom right now. Everybody's using Zoom. Like that stock is doing exceptionally well. Yeah. So yep, I think that'll be a continued trend.
Yeah. So what are, like, if you had to say off the top of your head, what are your 3 stock picks for us to keep an eye on right now?
No pressure. Disclaimer already said.
No, we said, yeah, we said keep an eye. We didn't say buy, we said keep an eye.
Things that I'm thinking about right now are, I love Amazon. Amazon's always going to be a good company. And recently we had a pullback. And did y'all notice, like in the last 3 weeks, there was a little bit of all the technology companies fell. Anytime they fall, that's a good time to get into more of the really good ones. So, of course, I always like Amazon. Apple's always great. But I would suggest, instead of just taking my picks, I think it's a good idea to go into CNBC and look at what companies recently hit their like 52-week highs. Like a few, you know, in the last, September's been an off month, but maybe a little bit before that, what companies had hit new highs. Then try to find out, okay, if they pull back a little bit from that, that's the ones that I want to get into because they obviously are doing something right.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about quad witching? I think it's called, you know, like the stocks that are falling in the last
quadruple witching. To tell you the truth, I do not know. I have to be honest. I don't know a lot about quadruple witching. I know that it's a time where a lot of money is coming into the market. And it has to do with options, but I honestly can't.
Like, that's not my thing.
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
Cool. I know you talked about you having students. So it'd be good to know, if someone's really wanting to get into stocks, what are the resources you can recommend? Maybe you can tell us about classes you teach. Just think for people resources they can tap into if they want to get in.
Yes. So about 2 years ago, I started an online school called Trade and Travel, and we now have over 3,000 students in the course. It's a 8-week program. Yeah, no, right? It's like a full university.
Educator, because you've done that. You're teaching both.
Yeah, they're like that's like the biggest thing I hear. Like, Terry, you're a teacher. Like, that's like, you can make this simple. This is a big complex thing, but you make it simple. So
you're the first person who's ever gotten me excited about stocks. Like, I fear stocks. When I had my day job, I literally just let whatever, you know,
you just broke it down.
Like just manage it. But now I actually think I can do this.
You can do it. You can. So the class, you should check it out.
I'm just waiting for this to be over. Like, seriously, like 8:15 on the dot. I'm messaging you.
Just so everybody else tell us again, what is the name of the course?
Okay, the course is called Trade and Travel, and there's a free webinar at itradeintravel.com. itradeintravel.com. That's where you can find a free webinar and then learn more about how to get signed up. We start a new cohort every month. So we actually have one starting this month if you guys are ready. Okay. Also, you can find more videos that I've done on YouTube at Trade and Travel. So just look up Trade and Travel and you'll find all the stuff about Terry, Trade and Travel, the school, and investwithterry.com is like our website.
Okay. Any other books or courses or websites that, I know you mentioned that app. So that's
the
great
CNBC app as well.
Yes.
Any books or something that maybe helped you when you were starting out?
I didn't have a lot that helped me, which is why I started the course, because I was trying to figure it all out on my own. And I went to MIT for undergrad. So I felt like, well, I can come up with my own algorithm. But that was stupid because people have been trading for hundreds of years. So I just needed to put it all together so that we would have access to it. Because I feel like my communities and our communities don't often know about stocks.
No,
so yeah, I would suggest the course first. So to start with itradeintravel.com and look at the free webinar. I think that's the best place to start.
Any advice you would offer to any skeptics? If there's anybody who's still skeptical right now?
Yeah. I would offer Matthew 25 verses 14 through 30. And it's the parable of the talents where a servant a master had 3 servants. One of them, he gave 5 talents. One, he gave 2 talents. And then the other one, he gave 1 talent. The one with 5 talents and the one with 2 talents, the Bible says that immediately they went and traded with them and they doubled their money. But then the one with the 1 talent, he went and hid it. And when the master came back, the ones that had doubled their money, they presented it to the master. And he said, well done, my good and faithful servant. You took a few things and did well with them. But the one with the one talent, he brought that 1 talent back. And the master was like, what? You're lazy. You were lazy. You could have just invested this and got me at least some interest. So that's what I would say. Like, think about that parable in the Bible. The way that they were blessed by the masters, that they did try to actually take initiative and invest with their money.
Build on what
I love that.
I love that.
Oh, I think like there's nothing. Is there
Yeah,
anything
this
else
is
to
it.
say?
It's like
I want to leave it on that note. Exactly, mic drop. I totally want to leave it on that note.
Amazing. We learned so much, and you like have my favorite strategy, which is like risk mitigating. Like not, I like to keep my money. I don't like to lose my money. I love that you have that strategy. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Well, thank y'all so much for having me. Let me know
Thank
if you need anything. And this was wonderful.
Yeah, the pleasure was all ours. Thank you so very much. And I'm going to reach out to you. Absolutely.
I'm Googling you right after this, girl. Can you believe it?
Thank you so very much. You have a lovely evening.
You too. Bye.
My mind is blown.
Did you like
that? My foot.
Yeah. I feel bad for PF PAK.
No, I can't involve here in this matter. It doesn't work at all. I have my little thingy from BSL.
Oh, there you go.
So that's what I'm going to do.
I love it.
I'm going to just start something little with
Even
that.
I wanted to go do something, and I'm usually very gun shy about
me too. But yeah, absolutely.
That was really awesome.
Loved it. So now, like we said earlier, we are trying to make sure that at the end of this pandemic, you are actually doing better financially. You sorted out your debt, you've put some things in place, you are doing some trading, you're, literally getting your finances healthy. And so we want to talk about the other aspect of, investment that is doing fantastically well right now, real estate. Yeah. So we're going to have one of our ministers as well at New Covenant House who's doing really fantastically at real estate and who's very knowledgeable and has been doing it for a while. Hey, Tiwa, how are you?
Hey, can you hear us? Chick's frozen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe. Oh, Tiwa, can you hear us? Yeah, I think she might have to turn up her sound.
Yeah, so she's
not on mute. Can you hear us? Oh, connecting. Fantastic. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
We're okay. Thank you so much for taking the time. So we want to hear more. I know you gave us like a tiny little bit taste at the Girl Talk a couple of Saturdays ago, but we want to hear more. We want to really like kind of delve into it and just hear about you and real estate. So thank you so very much for coming on. Can you just give us just a quick background of what you do?
Okay, my name is Tiwa, and I'm a real estate broker. So I own my own real estate company as a real estate brokerage. It's a small one, but I'm my own brokerage. And, I have a few realtors now under me. And then, so mostly I help investors in residential investments that buy properties, or people that want to buy their residential properties and like their houses, or for investment or rentals. So that's what I do.
I remember when you started. You actually, our first home in Dallas. You were the one who helped us with that. So it's been a minute. I remember when you were just an agent, right?
Yes,
you had
I was just an agent, of course. Yeah. So I was an agent for 5 years, and then after being an agent, I became a broker.
Yeah, and like Loli P said, she was being very conservative. Like
no, she's being modest. She's our G real estate broker extraordinaire. I wouldn't buy a house without her.
Absolutely. So how did you kind of get comfortable with the whole idea of risk and and buying and real estate, especially as it's gone up and down a little bit? I know we had the big bubble that burst, I think it was 2008. And how did you get comfortable with it?
Okay, so the thing is, just like anything, there will always be ups and downs.
Yes.
Like Terry just talked so wonderfully about the stock market. Mm-hmm. And if you like your 401k or whatever it is you have in the stock market, we know that the stock market goes up and down. Yes. The same thing with real estate. Now, real estate goes up and down. But the thing about real estate is, no matter what, what I always tell people is, there are many things in life that you have abundance of. Mm-hmm. And you can always create new things. You get new technology, a new car, but you can never create new land.
Mm-hmm. It's finite.
The earth is what it is. So the size of Dallas cannot be bigger than what Dallas is. Mm. So real estate will always be something that is precious because you can't create more land. Mm. And the more the years go by, the more the population grows, the more land will become valuable. Absolutely. So that's what you should always have in mind, that, okay, that's the way you differentiate it, that real estate is something people would always need. Mm. See, in life, there are things we need. We need health. We need to feed. Mm-hmm. We need also something, we need accommodation. Mm, so yes. You can't, whichever way you look at it, is either you're renting an apartment or you're living in a house, something, you need accommodation, you need a roof over your head. So real estate is an essential part of life.
That's so if let's say I wanted to get into real estate investing, like what would be the advice you would give to like a beginner, like someone that's just starting out?
Where do we start?
Like where do they start from?
Okay, so the thing is, real estate is not really something you can jump into. You need to be pretty careful. You need to be prepared. You need to have the money. Mm-hmm. Because the real estate is not just about paying your mortgage. Mm-hmm. It involves maintaining the property. You pay your property tax. You do so many things on real estate. So the way to start first, you have to be financially sound. So like I said from the beginning, you need to have that financial piece. Something where you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your basic needs, and then you want to invest into real estate. Mm-hmm. So I think to me, it's a step. So first of all, you need to start getting rid of debt. Okay. So you can't be struggling to pay your car notes, your credit cards, and then say, I want to invest in real estate.
Gotcha.
That's good. So it's a process. But then as a beginner, like I said, once you've dealt with that part of your life where when you now have extra funds, okay, that's when you now go, okay, where do I invest my money? And that's where real estate comes in. Now, in the case where you can buy your own personal accommodation, that is still investment. The house you live in is an investment. And I can tell people, you don't have to wait till it's a 5-bedroom house. It can be a 1-bedroom condo. It can be a 3-bedroom townhouse. Something to start with accommodation. So if you're in a place where, okay, I have a job, I've been regular in my job for like a year to 2 years, I have some extra money, and then I need accommodation. And then when you now look at the accommodation where, okay, I need to pay rent, or I need to find some sort of accommodation, that is when you can now consider that, okay, what if I buy one for myself? And then when you look at it, I always tell people that don't spend more than 40% of your gross income on real estate.
Okay.
Just because, let's say you bring in the 100%, your tithe and offering, you pay your tax, all that, if you're spending more than 40% of your income, when you calculate it and go, okay, this is going to take 60%, then you're not yet ready. Put yourself in a place. Put yourself in a place where you have that money and you go like, okay, I can actually put 40% of my income and put it into real estate. And like I said, you can start with yours. Start with your own accommodation first. So I hear some people stay in apartments and they're doing investments. And I'm like, well, you're paying for somebody else's investments by staying in an apartment if you have money to buy your own. So start with yours first, start growing that equity, because real estate helps you where it helps you in your taxes. Some people don't know that. So it helps you in that, and you're growing equity. And then when that now comes, once that is over and you now have additional income, then you can now go, okay, where else do I need to invest?
So I guess that's the question is, if I've taken financial peace, I've paid all my debts, I've bought my house, and now I'm like in that, okay, I have extra money, I'm not paying debt anymore, and I want to get into real estate investing. What's the first thing I need to do?
So the first thing you need to do is to talk to a mortgage officer.
Okay.
So not a realtor. The first thing you need to do is to go to a bank or a mortgage company and let them pull your credit. So you need your credit, you need to look at, okay, what can I really afford? So the mortgage broker will tell you what you can afford and then how much it's going to cost you monthly. Okay. Then from there, once you have that number, then you contact a realtor and say you want to buy a house. And I would always advise when it comes to investment, have at least 20% down payment.
All right.
In your house. You need that. So I've seen people that would say, okay, I won't say it's my primary, is an investment. I will just say it's another primary residence and I put 5%. By the time you calculate the rent you're supposed to collect on that house, you're not going to break even. You're not going to be losing money. So the best thing to do is first have your 20% as your down payment. That is the only way you can really make income on an investment property.
So how, I want to kind of keep this in mind. How has the pandemic affected the real estate market? Because again, that was one of the things that people thought, it's going to be like 2008 where, housing market crashes.
Yes, we all thought that was going to happen. We thought there was going to be a crash like February, everybody was prepared, but it's been crazy. The real estate market is hot. So another thing is DFW, very hot, as in it is hot. In the DFW market, so let me give you an analysis. Over 100,000 people coming yearly into DFW from other cities. And right now they don't have enough inventory for everybody. So the prices have gone up, people are buying, and one of the reasons is because the interest rate is so low right now. So before interest rate was like 4.5 last year. Now this year, people are closing houses at 2.6%.
Oh my God.
So that's how low for a 30-year mortgage. That is how low, at 2.25, 2.3 for a 15-year mortgage.
Unheard of.
So this is unheard of. So because of that, a lot of people are buying. So yeah, the real estate market is strong, very, very strong right now.
And the crazy thing as well is just the equity, like literally between last year and this year, the amount of equity, the values of the homes have just gone crazy. I mean, if I'm coming from California and I'm paying 1.3 million for 200,000 square foot, 2,000 square foot place or 1,300 square foot place. And I walk into Dallas with 1.4 million and they're giving me, 5,000 square feet.
6,000,
I'm dropping cash.
Yeah.
And
so, let me give you an example. Like I had a property just 2 years ago, and as of now, that property has gone in value just within 2 years at over 120,000. There's this neighborhood, now this is a higher end neighborhood, but this is an example. 2 years ago, the base price for a house in that neighborhood was $899. As of January, it was $999. As of June, it was 1.6, as in 1,064,000. As of last month, the base price is 1 million, as in 1.9, as in 1,099,000. So within 2 years, as in within 3 years, the base price went up by 300,000. So that is to tell you what the real estate market is. I had someone that wanted to buy a house like in March, April, and they were like, let me wait till the pandemic, I'm going to hold on. That same house was supposed to be 410. But now I put them on a contract last week. They are paying 460,000 for that.
50 grand in 5 months.
And
that's like 10 grand a month.
There's no other investment that will give you that kind of return.
Nothing.
That is the beautiful thing about
I know people, and I don't want anybody to be intimidated by these prices I'm calling.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you can't start with a 2-bedroom condo.
Yeah.
You can start with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. As long as you have a steady job, and you can pay your rent of $1,600 to like 22 something, you can buy a house.
Absolutely.
You can buy a property and you start from there.
I love how we've kind of, without even meaning to, we've actually put these segments in the right order. Right? Okay, get your finances in order.
Yes.
Make a little extra money on the side, and then start playing with your money. And short-term investments, stock market, and then now long-term, like sit pretty, so that by the time you're retiring and all of that,
you just have this steady flow of income coming in.
Absolutely.
I guess the other question I was going to ask you is, if someone wanted to go into real estate investing, would it be a good idea for them to get their real estate license? Would that be something that you would advise someone to do if they wanted to actively invest in real estate?
Yes. So here's the thing. The thing is, when you get a license, is it just for you to buy the house and get your commission? See, that's it. So, okay, anytime I buy my house, instead of the realtor getting the commission, I get the commission. If that's your purpose, then I'll say go ahead. But for you to be a realtor, you have to do courses, you have to do exams, you join an association, you pay your dues. So there's actually more involved in it.
It's not worth it to just
selling.
I see your point.
But if you now want to help other people, I would say yes, you can get into it. But if it's just, I buy a property or two in a year and I want to keep the commission to myself, you're actually going to spend a lot of money in fees and dues. So that may not be profitable.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
So somebody on YouTube wanted to know, if you could break down the 40% analogy just a little bit better. I mean, I think it was pretty clear, but can you just go over that?
40% is more of your gross income.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, before taxes, you make $5,000 a month. And then you want to buy a house. That's why, so there are tools you can use. I usually use this tool online. It's called mortgagecalculator.org.
Okay.
Mortgagecalculator.org is so easy. You put the amount of the house, you educate yourself in the location, put the property tax. So just use an average of 3.0% as property tax. That is on the high end, but at least it's better to calculate higher than lower.
Yes.
So the way it goes is, let's say you bring 5,000 in every month before taxes. You don't want to be that you're spending 2,500 of it on your mortgage, because if they deduct your taxes from 5,000, it's going to be lower than 5,000. Have your groceries, you have your bills, and all those other bills, and you need to save for emergency. Gotcha. So there is something called being house poor. You don't want to be house poor. So that's why I say you need to limit it between at 40% because that gives you more room to do other things.
Okay.
And even when you go to a mortgage person, I think you're in finance, so you know how they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think also there's a risk.
Yeah,
there's a risk to potential, like people end up sometimes buying a house and they think, oh, even 40%, I'll put all my 40% down. And then next year they reassess your property value. The beautiful thing is your property value has gone up, but the other thing that's also going up is your property taxes. The next thing you know, you're paying even 300. So I think the 40% rule is such a brilliant one because it allows you to be careful about risk management as your expenses might potentially go up.
Not overextend.
Not overextend.
Not overextend yourself.
That's a good rule.
And that's the thing that, one of the things I'm starting to realize about life is that a lot of the time, the problems we have is user error. So people are like, oh, I bought a house and I got into trouble, or this or that time, and I invested in this, I got into trouble. It's user error, because if you educate yourself, if you get involved in some of these things and don't make some of these mistakes, then you'll be okay. So the issue is not, oh, real estate isn't a viable option to, doing well. It's
if you extend yourself,
exactly. If you overextend, then it becomes a problem. Would you recommend, if you were doing investments, using property management companies, or doing
yourself?
Yeah.
I would say it depends on the number of properties you have. So if you have like one or two, you can do it yourself, because most times your profit margin in an investment property is usually like 10 to 15% of that mortgage amount. So let's say your mortgage is 2,000 that you're paying, including the taxes, all the fees on the house and HOA. The minimum you should get on rental should be 2,200.
Okay.
So you always give yourself that room. That should be the minimum. So you have some money for repairs and all that. But in that situation, if you give it to a property management company, they would actually be the ones that would take that 10% away from you.
Gotcha.
So you wouldn't have enough room for your fees, as in to be able to just save a little money on the house.
Or if the roof started leaking.
Yes, or things like that. Because property management companies, they don't actually do repairs for you. They can call the repair company, but you still have to be the one to pay for your repairs. All you're really doing is to get a tenant into the house, make sure that your tenant pays their fees, and if they breach their contracts, to send the tenant out of the house.
Gotcha.
So that's really what they do. But in the case where, let's say, your property value now goes up and you have more money, or you command more rent on the property, and you have that room and you're getting more properties than you can manage, then give it to a property management company, because the more properties you have, you get discounts.
So you can even like
give
grow.
so they'll give you a portfolio, and that makes it cheaper.
So it sounds like with investment properties, the real money is not what you get monthly. It's only that property. It's a long game. Yeah, that's the phrase I was looking for.
It's not the money that comes in monthly that is in investment property. Is that someone is paying that mortgage for you while you're building equity on your house.
Some people actually use real estate investment as a college fund for their kids.
Oh yes, I have clients that did that. A few clients did it, and they have like 3 children, and each child has one house.
Yeah,
honestly, that's the way we paid Diane's tuition.
And one started like 5 years ago. On that property, one started 5 years ago. On that property, they already have over 100,000 in equity. So you can imagine they can't build a college fund in 5 years and get 100,000.
No.
And that wasn't even their money. All they did was put 20% down. Somebody has been paying that mortgage for them. So it's somebody actually paying for your children's college fund.
Okay. Yeah. It's important to get financially well, because all of this is just it's story. If you don't get your act,
that's why really taking financial peace and really starting that process is so critical.
Absolutely. So we've just got a few minutes left. So I'm trying to decide, like, we've got so many questions on which one. Okay, so I think maybe I'll do one and you do one. So
Yeah,
you pick one and I pick one. So what resources do you leverage to help you be successful in real estate? Like books, classes, like what would you advise if I wanted to invest? Where do I get the information that I need to do it successfully, not to get into trouble?
Yes, so there are a lot of books out there. You can check Amazon. And I look at investors too. So I follow people like Warren Buffett is someone I really, really like. And if you notice, a lot of these wealthy people, if you look at their background or their portfolio, what they have mostly is real estate. So, and I'm like, if the rich people are into real estate, they know that there is something good in real estate. So, so just search. You can do your research online. Go to the Trek website. That's trek.gov. Go to Trek website. There are a lot of materials on real estate. There are a lot of materials on investment on that website. There are a lot of courses that are actually free courses that all these title companies actually offer. So go to like Capital Title, Chicago Title, just go to their website. They do a lot of webinars about investments. Now, please be careful. There are some people who pay this and go and buy houses and flip. I don't know much about that. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you to educate yourself on, okay, what's the value of investing? Look at, like I said, portfolios of the wealthy people, how they've done it and how did they get there. So you can start from one, and before you know it, you have several properties. I had somebody.
Amen.
Yeah, he started at age, and you're not too old. The guy started at age 50, and he was a developer. By the time he retired at 62, he bought one property every year. He had 12 properties. He had 6 of them paid off. The 6 of them were already taking care of the other ones. And he said, that's my retirement. So things like that is like, it's never too late to start. And you're never too young to start either. So.
All right. I've got 2 years to get my act together.
I feel like that was such a good note to end it on.
I know, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Did you have any more questions?
No. I liked her saying, it's never too late.
Yeah. And you never too early, never too late.
I love it.
And that's really what I want people to take away today is start somewhere, do something today. This is, I'm one of those people that I don't start anything except it's the first of the month or it's a Monday. Or the first of the year. No. I'm terrible.
Are you serious?
I'm terrible. Anything I want to do, I'll be like, I'm waiting for first of this or Monday. I don't start anything new on Wednesday or Tuesday. It just messes me up. So today is October 1st. So this is a good day. Yep, this is a good day to start. So if you're one of those people who send a new die, when shall we start? On the 1st. Today is the 1st of October. And it's actually October, November, December. This is the first day of the last quarter of the year.
Oh my goodness, you're so right.
So start something today.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate all the information you're taking the time and trouble. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
This was great.
It was so good. I feel like I always feel like I know a lot about finances, and then I get into conversations and I learn even more.
Okay, so imagine how I feel. imagine how I feel like I'm a total, oh my goodness. The kind of person that I am, I probably would still have my money like in a little envelope under my pillow. If it was that America, you can't get away with that.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I would just have an envelope labeled.
I had a grand aunt that when she died, it was the money under her bed. They used to bury her.
No, I promise you. I'm totally like I'm the one person everybody in the house still comes up to. Do you have any cash? Because they know
you always have cash.
Yeah, and people are like, why? I'm like, what if I go somewhere and then I swipe my card and they, every now and again, especially Chase.
Yeah.
Chase, if you swipe the card twice in a day, they will just block it and say, fraud alert. They're very fraud conscious.
Oh.
Or what if the chip broke? Or what if the people's machine broke? Or
I never have cash.
No, I must. Every time I go to the grocery store, I always like just a little.
Oh, that's not smart. No, that's smart.
I don't know.
I've never thought about it. I have this habit that when I have cash, it's like I feel like I'm like rich madam. It's like if you say, "Oh, yeah, I have."
Yeah, I do that too. But absolutely, this was fantastic. So, one, as always, encourage everyone: start somewhere, do something, change something. you know, if you start something today, in a week, you'll be further along than you were last week, right? So do something. And the wonderful thing is, God really is the one who gives us power to make wealth. So you know that at the end of the day, your investment, your risk, what you're putting in, God will bless it if you do it for good.
Yes.
And don't forget to give. All the avenue, give to the poor, give to the people who are needy around you, give to the work of the Lord, give to projects and charities, and just spread, even if it's a little bit around. The Bible says that spread your wealth, or cast your wealth upon many waters, cast your bread upon many waters. That's your wealth. And after many days, they will return to you. It also talks about investing in all sorts of different ways, because you don't know which one will bring a return. The Bible actually says that you don't know which one will bring a return. So double a little bit here and there, let the Holy Spirit lead you, and you will be blessed. And you know the greatest thing about it? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be in a position where you not only have enough wealth for yourself, but you can actually do good in the lives of other people?
Be fantastic.
I mean, you can set up, scholarships. Look at how, what's his name? That black guy, I've forgotten his name, paid off the tuition for 400 students in the graduate Morehouse. Now, Morehouse is not a cheap college. I mean, I would love to do stuff like that. Make a change, do something, with it. So really appreciate that. Right before we sign up, just want to kind of catch you up on some of the stuff that's going on at NCH this week. Tomorrow, we're actually going to have our Spaces, which is our single and young adults fellowship. They'll be having their Zoom Bible study. It's called Inner Circle, and it's at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. So do not miss that. They pretty much cover every kind of topic: the spiritual, investments, the finances, your wellness, mental health, everything. I'm not even sure what they're talking about tomorrow, but I know that it will be great. So yeah, join the discussion. If you need more information to get on the Zoom call, check on our app or our website, New Covenant House or newchdallas.com, and just get that information. Sign on to that Zoom call. Do not miss it. I know people who have great testimonies of how their lives have changed just by being, in discussion and doing Bible study and doing life together with people who are kind of going through similar things. Somebody's done it. Somebody's made the mistakes. Somebody's learned the lesson. So, I mean, why reinvent?
Why reinventing and learning?
Absolutely.
Do you want to talk about what's happening next week? I heard about the topic for your live next week. I thought that was
okay. No, should I, or do you want to go ahead?
No.
So next week on Live with PF PAK, we're actually going to be covering the second part of what we talked about last week, which was dating with intention, or dating and Christianity. And if you missed that, please go and watch it on YouTube. That was off the chain. It was fun. It was educative. It was interesting. I mean, I didn't want it to end. And so we'll be doing the second part of it now, when we're going to actually be talking to a few engaged and newly married couples. So we want to see those for whom some of this stuff worked. Can you tell us what worked for you? What didn't work? How you're living it out? How are you actually doing this in this present time? And I'm not just talking about COVID. I'm talking about just this current times. All of this dating advice and the stuff that the church throws at you. Is it actually working? And even if you've been married 20 years, you will learn something, because last week I learned something. I've been married 22 years. Absolutely. So do not miss that. On Sunday, as always, 10:30, join us for online service. We will be having a great time together in worship and just studying the word together. I think that's pretty much it.
I think so.
Yes. Please follow us on all our social media handles. We're on we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and on YouTube, of course.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, like or subscribe and share all our stuff, and just connect with us. You can send us an email if you'd like to know more information about anything at newchdallas.com. Thank you also very much.
This was so fun.
Thank you, Lord,
it was
for
so fun
taking
to
the time.
Of course.
It was great.
Of course, I learned a lot.
Thank you. You all have a fantastic night, and God bless you. Good night. Yeah, I always wait to see PFs.